In a jaw-dropping incident, a cruise passenger's bold attempt to impersonate a US citizen has taken the internet by storm. This shocking crime unfolded when a man, identified as Enrico Ronquillo, boarded the Discovery Princess cruise with a forged California ID and birth certificate. What started as a routine cruise through Alaska soon turned into an alarming case of identity theft and fraud. But the story doesn't end there. Ronquillo's actions went further, as he allegedly used stolen credit card information to withdraw a staggering $20,000, 0 cents in cash, all while avoiding detection on the high seas. However, the truth would soon catch up with him. Upon docking in Juneau, authorities quickly realized the fraud, leading to his arrest and a criminal investigation. But here's the twist. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The real story is packed with unexpected turns, dramatic confrontations, and shocking details that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Stay tuned, because the wildest parts of this saga are coming up next. Don't forget to like this video, as we uncover every spicy detail that you won't want to miss. As the Discovery Princess set sail through the beautiful Alaskan waters, it seemed like any other luxurious cruise for the passengers on board. With a calm sea and clear skies, the travelers were expecting nothing but relaxation. But hidden in the mix was Enrico Ronquillo, a man who wasn't exactly who he claimed to be. He managed to slip through the cracks by using a forged California driver's license, a fake birth certificate, and even fraudulent tax documents. It wasn't just a small trick. This was a full-on scheme to pass as a US citizen and gain access to privileges that only American citizens would have on the ship. Ronquillo, hailing from the Philippines, knew exactly what he was doing, and for a while he was completely undetected. But here's the thing about life. The truth has a way of catching up to you. Although Ronquillo's plan initially worked flawlessly, it didn't take long for Customs and Border Protection to notice discrepancies in his paperwork. The authorities were able to quickly spot the fraudulent documents when the ship docked in Juneau, Alaska. When the news broke, it sent shockwaves throughout the cruise industry, especially because this type of identity fraud isn't something you hear about often. Imagine how Ronquillo must have felt when he realized his entire facade was crumbling. He had been enjoying his time on board, placing big bets at the casino and withdrawing tens of thousands of dollars. That's right, he allegedly used stolen credit card details to pull out nearly $20,000, 0 cents in cash. His actions were both daring and reckless, and as the story unraveled, it became clear that his gamble was soon going to crash down on him in a big way. It was only when the ship arrived at port that the authorities began to notice the irregularities with Ronquillo's documents. The quick-thinking officials were able to determine that something wasn't right. The fake identity and fraudulent paperwork raised red flags, and that's when the investigation kicked into high gear. It didn't take long for the authorities to connect the dots, and soon enough Ronquillo found himself in handcuffs, facing federal charges for impersonation and identity theft. But Ronquillo wasn't just going to go down quietly. After his arrest, things took a dramatic turn. Federal investigators reported that he tried to make a run for it by cutting off his ankle monitor and heading straight for the airport. Can you believe that? He tried to flee, hoping to escape the clutches of justice, but fate wasn't on his side. The authorities were quick to track his movements, and before he could board a flight out of Juneau, they intercepted him at the airport. Now, let's take a step back for a second and think about this. How did a man with such a big plan fall apart so quickly? It's easy to imagine Ronquillo at the beginning of the trip, feeling confident and secure in his disguise. But with every choice he made, whether it was trying to withdraw money or stepping off the ship in Juneau, he was digging a deeper hole. This was a plan that seemed flawless in theory, but was bound to fail because, at its core, it was based on lies and deceit. The truth always has a way of coming to light, especially when you're dealing with something as serious as identity theft. And as much as you might want to think this is a story of just one person's wrongdoing, the bigger picture shows how easy it is for someone to slip through the cracks. This whole scenario is a glaring example of why authorities need to constantly be vigilant and aware of these kinds of crimes, especially in industries like cruise lines where large numbers of people from different backgrounds are boarding and disembarking daily. When you think about it, Ronquillo's actions weren't just a personal crime, they affected everyone on that cruise ship. His illegal activity endangered the cruise line's reputation and made it harder for passengers and crew to trust in the safety of the systems in place. After all, who could have known if Ronquillo had used the same fraudulent identity to gain access to other ships or travel to different destinations? Now, what happens next for Ronquillo? Well, after he was arrested, he was taken to the Lemon Creek Correctional Facility in Juneau. The charges he's facing are serious: impersonating a US citizen, aggravated identity theft, and making and using false documents. If convicted on all charges, he could face years in federal prison, and that's not including the fines that come with such serious offenses. Not only that, but Ronquillo's future is now looking uncertain. He's not just facing criminal charges in the US, he also has to deal with the legal repercussions back in his home country of the Philippines, which could result in even more complications for him in the long run. This whole mess is far from over. In fact, this is just the beginning. As investigations continue, more details could emerge, and more people could be implicated in his scam. For now, we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds. But what's clear is that Ronquillo's decision to use fake identification and fraudulent documents has led him down a very dark path. And while this may seem like an isolated incident, it's a stark reminder that fraud and identity theft are still major issues in today's world. It's also worth noting how fortunate it was that the authorities acted quickly. Had they not spotted the discrepancies in his documents or managed to catch him before he left Juneau, who knows where this story could have gone? There's no telling how many more innocent people could have been affected by Ronquillo's actions, which is why it's so crucial for the systems in place to be strong, vigilant, and ready to catch fraudsters in their tracks. So, what can we take away from this? Well, it's clear that no matter how perfect someone's plan may seem, the truth always has a way of catching up. Whether it's the authorities doing their job, or just the consequences of a dishonest decision, things don't always go as planned. And now, as this case continues to unfold, we'll likely learn even more about the hidden depths of this fraudulent scheme. Make sure you hit that like button if you want to stay updated on this wild story. There's so much more coming your way in the next few videos.